Thank you for joining us today. Let me share my screen. And today we're going to talk about the same project we've been talking before, extending our website analytics project a little bit more. And there will be like a few changes compared to what we did before. So the previous idea was to collect data of the same project. So we add in the code to the same project we're working with, and we collect data, we present data, etc., etc. The problem with that is if you have multiple projects running on the same server, on different web server, different websites, you would need to copy this code to multiple projects, and this is probably not the best idea. So we are trying to build something that would be in a few ways similar to what commercial services that help you collect website statistics do. And the one we are trying to mimic is Plausible that we use for our own websites. This is what we're looking for. So the idea is that you have you can have multiple different websites, and it would be nice if you can create a service, microservice that will be collecting data for us from multiple different websites. So that's the idea, and this way we don't need to copy the same code to multiple projects. All what we need to do, and let me show you how it's been done. If you go to our website and click use page source, and you can see that this is how we do it. You can just include a script from a different website. In this case, it's plausible.io. And this is pretty much it. So it's plug and play basically. And that's what we are doing in our exercise today. Another difference is that since we will be collecting data from different websites where we do not have access to anything that is PHP based, we will work with something that is, again, it's similar to our website, which is a public website, right? You don't need to log on to browse it, and which means visitors are not logged in users, so we don't know anything about them. There is a little bit of information that we can collect. It will be IP address, and maybe we can use some sort of a cookie. So because IP address may change, but we want to know like if the same user comes to our website tomorrow, we just want to know that this is the same user. So we can use that information somehow. So these are the main differences. So we are not working with logged in users. So user ID field in our table will be empty. And where is my, okay. And second thing, we will be collecting using JavaScript that will be serving multiple projects. So what we change here, we have added a new field called project ID. And you can see now that project ID field is populated, but user ID is empty. Okay, so let me show you how it works. So this is the main website analytics project, the one that we will be using to collect data and to present data. So what did we do? We created a JavaScript file on the style editor, custom files. We have created a new JavaScript file named analytics. And let's see what it does. So probably we're going to need some comments here. So script is going to be our project ID. So when we plug in this JavaScript into different projects, we will be using different project ID. So we can tell one project from another. Okay, session ID generator. You can see on this screen. Previously, we were using PHP's function session ID. Now we will be using something stored in cookies, and we just generate a random session ID identifier. So you can see that this is the function that generates a random string of a certain length. And here we just use it 20 characters. That should be enough, but it can be increased if you want to. 20 random characters usually is enough. So what we're doing here, we are extracting project ID, and we populate. So this is we figure out. So we know that our file name is analytics.js. Then we replace it with analytics list PHP. We just need to know like a name of any PHP file that is a part of this project. So we know that analytics table is a part of the project. So we are replacing that to create a URL. We can step through the code at some point and see what it actually does. URL to make post. That's what we do. And we prepare data. So that's a current URL. We extract path from that and page name. And we also need to identify the user, and we use cookies for this purpose. So if someone visits it for the first time, meaning that session ID cookie is empty, we can probably use a better name, but it's fine for that. So we create this kind of cookie using some random ID. So it's fairly straightforward. And once we have all this information, we use jQuery's function to perform a post to that analytics underscore list PHP file. We can also see that in our DevTools, and we send in the following variables. So variable name project ID with the value of project ID, URL, page, and session ID is the value of that cookie, which can be either new one or the existing one. So depending on if someone is visiting for the first time. So this is our JavaScript file. Again, it's fairly straightforward. All we need to do is we need to figure out where to send this data and actually send it. This post we process after application initialized event. So I'm keeping the previous part of the code just in case. It is also available in the second part of this webinar. So if you need to download that project. So the code here is going to be a little bit easier. a little bit smaller. So this is a part of the code that is allows to post from a different URL. In our case, everything runs on localhost, but this is something, but on a different port. So this is something that was required. Okay, and here IP address is remote IP address, and everything else is coming from the post. Also, start is current date time. So again, it's similar to what we've been doing. If we already have a session with same session ID, then we update it. Otherwise, we insert a new record. So we just want to track start time and end time of every session, so we can calculate sessions length. So this is how it works, and let me show you how it works in a generated application. So this is a service project, or now we need to, I used Peach Piranha 10.91 to plug it in. So we needed to know, since we run everything on a local host, we just needed to know what, and we use a built-in web server. We just needed to know that that's our analytics project. And we just needed to know that it runs on port 8086. We did need to know that because we will be referring to that analytics.js file from other projects. Other projects are running on different ports, 8087 and 8089. So one of these. So this is one of the projects, project 5, and I'm doing something similar. So I'm going to style it. I'm just using Peach Piranha 10.91 because you can easily launch multiple instances of this. So I'm going to style it at templates headers .htm file. I'm clicking edit code, and I'm edit this line of the code. And you can see that what I need to do, I need to change two things. I need to specify the URL of analytics.js, and obviously I need to use the same port where it's running on. And I'm also specifying some sort of project ID identificator. So it's project 5. So what is happening when so that's project 5. So if you go here, where is code? That's project 5. If I go to, for instance, orders table, and I click view order button, now if I go back to analytics project, and you can see that two latest entries were from project 5 right here. And if I go to one of them, it was orders list, another one was orders view, and that's a complete URL. And now if I go to other project, which is master details, and I go to users, and I go and try to edit user ID 1. If I go now back here, reload the page, I can see two entries from that project as well. So different project.